investigation has taken you more than a year, Master, we have no conclusion than to say that you are doing backdoor deals. If there are no backdoor deals, this cardinal campaign message, which the president so much believed and constituted a committee before he could even be sworn in, cannot be treated so sluggishly by the Attorney General. And so, he can deny any backdoor deal, but the inactions that he has shown so far is responsible for the calls that people are believing, and they believe that he is doing backdoor deals in order to allow perpetrators of public lands, government properties that have been looted, to go free.
Sabo. And in fact, you know, the call also had come from the General Secretary of the NDC itself, Fifi Kwete, who had on, I think, 2 occasions had opportunity to call out the members, some members of the NDC, you know, for engaging in plea bargaining and, you know, all these issues.
Yeah, people, I mean, look, you have religious leaders. If you want, like I said, if you want that, we can mention names, who are going round, pleading on behalf of culprits. We have chiefs. We have members of the National Democratic Congress at higher levels who are going around telling you that, oh, this person is my relative, this person is my friend, this one, and talking. We know.
Sabo.
Yes, I think I largely agree with Bernard Mona. Like I said earlier on, this what do you call it, aura was part of their flagship decision that they used to win the election. They made Ghanaians believe that as if there were some properties of state that the previous government looted, that they knew their whereabouts and what have you. So when they come, they will lead us to those properties and make sure that they return it to the state. And even the current Attorney General has several, in fact, I've never seen an Attorney General who has had media this encounter with this particular. In fact, within 3-4 months, I lost count of the this and that he was having with the media. Nothing has come out of all the press, what they call it, conferences that he was holding. Even except that sometimes he come back and say that earlier on he said this and this, now it is like this, it is like that. And you see, because these are issues of intelligence, excuse my language, that I felt that you don't even need to come out and tell the public. Go and do your work. Lawyers normally, you see them go to court, but that doesn't mean that from the court they go to their rooms. They go and do research. They even travel just to go and find evidence and other things, and then come and present their case and the rest. And a whole state Attorney General will come and tell us this and this and this. In fact, and even unlawfully imprison some people, put them, detain them. Detain them. Some went beyond. I think Chamawun to me, I think almost, I stand to be corrected, was it 2 weeks or 3 weeks that he was detained at the BNI's distance. Now look at the court issues. When you check now, it is no longer like he was in Galamsey or whatever, but he gave his concession to Galamseyers. He gave it to people who were into Galamsey. But what were the initial stand of the Attorney General and the rest? You see, and like it's very painful. In fact, growing up in Tamale, there are certain prime areas in Tamale that I know that was exclusively government distant. But today when you go, all those areas are private property. Very painful, to be frank, very, 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 very painful as a citizen. Because in future, I don't know whether it was Kwame Nkrumah or who planned the Tamale forest. Whoever did that was a visionary. Because today the Tamale forest is in the heart of Tamale. And I believe that that's why we even had a stadium. Just a portion, a fraction of it that we had a stadium. So you can imagine if in the future, if so many things are cited and the rest. And these public lands that we are talking about, most of them are around cantonments, what do you call it, asylum down, I mean, just within the heart of Accra. In fact, Kanda, we all knew that all the buildings in Kanda were government destined. But today, go and check.
And cantonments.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. In fact, Kanda, there is now left with only the flats, so the GBC flats. That's the only government building that is now left. All the other buildings are now private destined. So you can imagine as a country, where are we going towards? And like he's saying, the current one, at least if indeed the previous government did that or looted, I mean, you should have taken a cue from them. Especially if your leader is saying that he is going to make sure that, I mean, this thing, I mean, a snip in the bud, or it will be a thing of the past. And now you are rather even doing it. And I shall say, then you read and you need a if your own, that those aura, as we speak, you are those in the media. Just tell me one good thing that aura has been able to produce ever since John Dramani Mahama was ushered into power. Just one thing, apart from punishment that they've given to people and anxiety that they've injected in the public, including myself. Because in fact, it doesn't matter whether the person is named PP or NDs. If aura should succeed in getting state land back to the state, I think all of us will rejoice in that. But is that what they are doing? Is that what they are doing? So I think, look, so it's I don't. In fact, these are the things that make people feel that politics, excuse me to say, is for sinners. As if you want to go to heaven, then don't do politics, because of the way we go about things. As if politics, power is for you to just do whatever you want. But I have always said, look, I don't know much in the Christianism, but in Islam, whatever you do on this earth, you account for it on the day of judgment. It doesn't matter where you did it, how you did it, you account for it. And if you don't understand, it is the Almighty God who created human being. And if human being can create a device that will record every action that you do, how much more God? You think you can escape God?
Right.
So I think we should be very careful the way and manner we govern this country. We should always be accountable to the people. We should be sincere to the people. We should be truthful to the people. Even indeed, if it was your intention, or based on wrong information, you thought that people actually looted public this and you came and the story is not like that. It is not too late for you to come back and say that we've done thorough this thing and realized that in fact most of the things that we had was wrong, were wrong informations. But however, we will make sure that we'll ensure the protection of state lands and then other properties of the state. I think it will go a long way to help us. This oral thing, David, on conclusion, I fall, in fact, to me, to be frank with you, at a point in time, I was saying that it is something that I think we should adopt as a state, that any time a government is ushered in, the first thing the government needs to check is what was the state of state properties when this government came in, and what is it, how is it now as they are living. Then we should know, because fortunately for us, land is the only resource on earth that can neither be increased or decreased. So it is so easy for that mathematics to be done in that particular regard, to know that whether a portion has been taken or what have you. But I don't know, David, today here Abelenkpe, I don't know whether there's any, Kwame, I don't know whether there's any government property in Abelenkpe today as we speak. No, my fear is that Nima, for instance, as we speak, we wish we will have our own SHS. But where are we going to put that building? But before, and let me tell you, there were so many government lands around. So many government lands. Today, this Agenda 1111, they had to sack artisans who are also providing valuable service to the people. Because and it also employed the youth and was also teaching them, because there was many people were trained through those things. But they had to, evacuate those people to make space for the Agenda 111. But if we had not grabbed state lands and the rest, I believe Nima would have had space. But when we were growing up at this Kanda Highway all, in fact, there was a vast land around that area. Now all those lands have vanished. So I think this one, sometimes we should put politics aside and come as a group of people and then deal with this particular canker to make sure the future generation will not curse us when it is their time.
KOD.
Yes, what's the topic?
The Attorney General's issue on plea bargaining. He says he's not behind closed doors trying to, give plea bargaining to suspects of oral. And that comes at as I indicated, Fifi Kwete had on 2 or numerous occasions given the indication plea bargaining for suspect of oral. So yesterday when he met the vice president, he was very frank that I'm not behind closed doors, I'm not taking plea bargains, and everything is working according to the dictates of oral.
Okay, so oral
Put simply, is Operation Recover or Loot, which was constituted, I think, even before the 2024 election, because it was one of the things that the NDC really trumpeted, that it was going to be a vehicle. That it was going to be a vehicle that the NDC was going to use in order that they'll be able to bring accountability to the good people of this country. You know, accountability is very, very important. And oftentimes, conversations have always been around corruption, corruption, corruption. We always pontificate, you know, accuse people of being corrupt, of having been involved in corruption, of having stolen state assets, etc. So when Operation Recover or Loot was put together, I was extremely elated. I was extremely elated, not because I thought that immediately the government would have the magic wand to be able to deal with the issue of corruption, but I thought that at least there is some seriousness attached to government that has indicated that I am so serious about dealing with the issue of corruption that I've put together a team, or I'm going to put together a team to, in order that we can, you know, first of all, identify people who have stolen from the state and then recover the loot, right? So the team was constituted, chaired by Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa. And in the beginning, a website was created, which website was used for the purposes of receiving complaints and documents, and also bringing, you know, Operation Recover or Loot team closer to persons who are alleged to have been corrupt or have been involved in any corruption-related matter. So that was put together. But the very first issue I had with that was that it did not have any legal backing. Operation Recover or Loot at the beginning had no legal backing. The committee had no legal backing. So it was more like a vehicle that was being used for the purposes of evidence collection and subsequently forwarding same to the authorities or the institutions with prosecutorial power to be able to then now prosecute those matters. But at the very beginning, that was not told us. The impression was created that oral was the beginning and the end of corruption. And I'm sure you followed it, so you know what I'm talking about. That the impression was created that oral was here to deal decisively with the issue of corruption. And I'm on record to have posted on Facebook that if oral fails, democracy dies, because of the impression that was created that, you know, oral was all that, right? So the committee's work came to an end when then they forwarded whatever it is that they had gathered to the president, you recall, because the president was the one who put together the committee. Then the president forwarded same to the attorney general, who has the prosecutorial power to prosecute matters. I think that what oral failed to do was, first of all, to be truthful to the Ghanaian people that we did not have any prosecutorial powers and that our work was only to gather information, not necessarily evidence. Information. And I keep telling people that what you define as evidence may not be evidence before a competent court of jurisdiction. Bernard, you know this. That you may say that this is evidence in support of a fact or a fact in issue. But you go to court and the judge will say that, but the matter that you have brought, there's no weight. It will not help the court arrive at a final solution that will bring about, you know, justice. And therefore, this evidence is not needed. We won't accept it. The weight, the probative value is not there. That's what I'm saying. So definitely, it is not all the information gathered which could have translated to evidence being adduced in court, or evidence with probative value that will be admissible by the court. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that is that, right? So the first failure of oral was that it failed to educate the Ghanaian people that this is not an end in itself. It is part of a process that may lead to an expected end, or that may lead to the state unraveling certain, you know, myths, and also bringing to the fore for prosecution some people who are or who have been found to be corrupt. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that was the first.
And you call the Rambo style with which some of these things were done. I do recall vividly that, you know, some vehicles were seized, some lands were besieged, some houses were besieged. You understand? I mean, the energy, you know, that accompanied the execution of Operation Recover or Loot was quite intense. Now, the chairman was appointed by His Excellency the President to the Foreign Affairs Ministry. So now he's a minister. Raymond Archer, who was also part of the committee, is a boss of IOCO, and several others, you know, who played a very significant role in Operation Recover, have all been given positions, and it stands to reason, because that's what, like I said, it was a team put together for the purposes of what?
Right.
Gathering information, right? Now, what that information will be used for entirely sits with the AG. You see, so that the information has been given, but the AG now has a daunting task of filtering that information to see which one is relevant and which one is not. And it is clear, based on even the information put out by the AG itself, that a lot of the information gathered were chaff. Most of them were irrelevant. Now, to all the loot. So, what it means is that if somebody is alleged to have committed an offense and the person is being prosecuted, or the person is before a competent court of jurisdiction for a determination to be made on the actions and omissions of that person, right? And the person then finds it expedient to engage the Attorney General and see if they can reach some to have committed the offense, is saying that yes, I have done it, but maybe I have amount of money. I'm willing to give you X amount because I cannot give you all. Then the AG will say amount because I cannot give you all. Then the AG will say, okay, give me 60%, give me 70%, give me 80%, give me 90% of that. Whatever is left, we can have an arrangement and you pay it later, right? So the AG himself said that even the National Service Secretariat team have approached him and then they've made an offer, but which offer he's not going to accept because it does not meet the AG's, you know, standards in terms of the recoveries, right? I am bringing this to your attention to say that it is not in all matters that prosecution should be the end result. That if you can actually recover some of the money, you can do that. The disappointment, I guess, that Ghanaians are having right now is because we are hearing and listening to a lot more rather statements rather than action. I don't know if well, so like it's just communication, right? Telling us this is happening, that is happening, this is happening, that is happening. That process we need to be carried along. That okay, for the people who came by way of plea bargaining, maybe God forbid, but Mr. Sabo, Kwame Ushida, and so Bernard Mona, they have come plea bargaining. They said that they took X amount of money, they have brought X amount of money. This is it. This is the account. It is in this money. Sorry, the money is in this account, right? There's a particular land somewhere. We have gone and we have recovered it. This is the land. It is valued as this. This is the person who was, so that Ghanaians can follow. Accountability and transparency is very, very important. But what we are seeing right now is just bandying names about without necessarily explaining to the good people of this country the process that you are using in recovering the money, and whether or not, if you are in court, where we are with those matters. And I tell people, because of the you know, because of this right to freedom, okay,